Okay, this is the Year 8 Math Term 2 Final Revision, and this covers the textbook page 155 to 165 and page 171 to 176. There are 8 questions. The exam is on Tuesday, May 5th, next Tuesday, and it is from 11 a.m. until 11:50 a.m. So you'll have 50 minutes to answer these questions. So let's go over the type of questions that will be on the exam. Number 1, draw angle A. You do need to have a protractor and a ruler and a compass, pencil, or pen if you prefer, and an eraser or ink. I would recommend a sharpener, and you may use a straight edge on some questions. Okay, so number 1 says draw angle A of 24 degrees. So you're just going to draw a line and then use your protractor and draw the angle of 24 degrees. So I'm trying to put my protractor, this circle right here, on the dot and make sure that my lines line up. You can see right there that the lines are lined up, and I'm in the center of the circle. 24 degrees. So notice that we have, degrees on the inside. This says 30 degrees and this says 150. You want to remember that 90 degrees is a right angle, kind of like the edge of the angle in a square, and so 24 degrees is going to be less. So we're going to use this 24 and not the 24 that's over here. So here's 30, here is 25, and so I'm going to look, and to the best of my ability, I'm going to, I'll actually use this mark over here. So this is 25, here is 24, so I'm going to put a little mark right out there. Trying to make it as clean and as narrow as possible. And then I'm going to draw a line from the point that I just marked to this point right here. And I'm going to double check and make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. Yeah, that looks about like 24 degrees. And then it doesn't hurt to label 24 degrees. Number 2. Okay, now we're going to bisect angle A, the angle we just drew. So when you bisect an angle, you're going to use your compass. So what you do when you bisect an angle is set the compass to any length you prefer, nothing too small, but nothing too big. Probably I'm just going to set it right about there, which is about 2 centimeters. And I'm going to place the needle end at the this point right here. And I'm going to draw an arc across these 2 lines. See if I can get it to be a little darker, if it'll show up. All right. So here are my 2 points, and I'm going to put a point where that arc crosses these 2 lines, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I can use the same opening on my compass, or I can widen it or narrow it if I choose. So I've made a mark here from this point, and now I'm going to make a mark here, the needle on the dot, in the dot, and make an arc here as well. And I see these 2 arcs cross, and where they cross I'm going to put a point, and that should be right in the middle of this angle. So then I use my ruler and I line up from the point at the angle, and I'm going to draw a line from the angle, move down a little bit, and go through that point. And just to be sure, I'm going to measure, each of these angles should be 12 degrees, 12 degrees. So try and find my point. Look over here. Yeah, looks like I'm about 0.5 degrees off, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so one is 12.5 and the other is 11.5. That's okay. Close enough. So that is a bisect an angle. So you draw an angle and bisect an angle. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says draw the perpendicular bisector of line AB, line segment AB. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my compass again, and I want to set it to over half the length. So if I measure the length of this line, it's about 4.3 centimeters. So I want to be more than half of 4.3, which is 2.15. So I'm going to go ahead and set it for about 3 centimeters. And this doesn't need to be exact, as long as you're over half. Then, placing the needle at one point, I'm going to make an arc, like so. And then at point B, I will do the same with the same length that I used at point A. If your compass opens up a little bit, you need to do it again and make sure that both of these arcs are the same length. And you can see that I have these arcs cross at this point and this point. So I'm going to put 2 dots there, and then using my ruler, I'm going to draw a line through the center of these dots, like so. Oop, I missed that one a little bit. And now I should have a perpendicular bisector, so this would be a 90-degree angle, and this side length will equal this side length. Okay, number 4. We're going to construct a right triangle. So to construct a right triangle, I'm not going to use my protractor or my right angle tool. I'm going to use a compass to construct that right triangle. So no other information is given, so I can just draw a line, and then I'm just going to choose a point on that line. Arbitrarily choose a point. To get a right triangle, I'm going to use the same method that I used for question number 3, perpendicular bisector. And I'm going to construct a perpendicular perpendicular bisector at this point. So I'm going to set my compass length to something that's not too big or too small, and going to put the needle in the dot and draw an arc here, and then to the other side as well, needle in the dot, draw an arc here. Okay, so now I have a point here and a point here. And now I'm going to open up the distance of my compass a little bit, and putting the needle here, make an arc here, and also putting the needle here, make an arc here. And where those cross should be 90 degrees to my baseline right here, and that should be 90 degrees. And for a right triangle, I can just choose any point that I want and draw a line there, and that is a right triangle. If it doesn't specify any side lengths or any other angles. Okay. It looks straight on the paper, but on the camera it looks a little bit funny. Anyway, just do your best. I realize that you will be sending these photos of your answers, so I understand that some of the pictures may look a little bit off. Okay, let's look at number 5. It says construct triangle ABC, where angle A is equal to 30 degrees, angle B is equal to 70 degrees, and side AB is 4 centimeters. So again, we are using compass and protractor. Actually, yeah. No, on this one we won't even need the compass. This will be all protractor. So I do want to draw AB of 4 centimeters. So I'm going to draw a 4 centimeter line. Put a dot here and a dot here. And I'm going to double check and make sure that I'm at 4 centimeters. Whoops, I went a little bit far actually. Enough to erase. I'll call this AB of 4 centimeters. AB of 4 centimeters. A and B. And then angle A, 30 centimeters. So I do put the protractor right in the middle of A. Make sure this line is straight. And I want an angle of 30 degrees, which is going to be right here at 30 degrees. Put a mark there at 30. And then I'm going to draw a line from my mark to point A. Like so. B, angle B is 70 degrees. So again, I'm going to line up my protractor. The line is flat. Put a mark at 70 degrees. And now you see 70 degrees is on the outside, which would be 110 degrees on the inside. So I'm just going to make the mark here at 110 just to make my life a little easier, but really know that that's 70 degrees. And I can put that mark there too, I guess, just to make sure. So I'm going to draw a line from B through these points, and we see that that does go through both those points. I did say that was 30 degrees. This is 70 degrees, and there is my triangle. I believe the question says also label all the sides and the angles, so I do want to label the length of these sides. So if I call this point C, side AC is 3.8 centimeters. AB was 4 centimeters. And then CB, if I measure CB, it looks like it is about 2, let's try it this way, 2.1 or so. 2 or 2.1 centimeters. And then I can also fill in this angle because I know that the sum of all these angles will be 180. So this angle C should be 80 degrees. So I've labeled all the sides and all the angles. Okay, so that was part A. Part B is similar, but rather than giving angle, side, angle, now we have side, angle, side. So here we have construct triangle DEF where angle A is 40 degrees, side AB is 4 centimeters, and side BC is 7 meters. So now I'm given one angle and two sides, and in part A I was given one side and two angles. So, oops, this should not be AB, this should be DE, DE, and this should be EF, EF. Okay, so I'll start with the base DE, which is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to draw a 4 centimeter line. About like that. Oops, a little bump there. 4 centimeters. Go ahead and measure that. Yeah, it's like 4.1. So I'm going to make the dot bigger and try and go more for the middle. Then I'm given angle D, not angle A, sorry, angle D of 40 degrees. So I'm going to draw a 40 degree angle. There it is, there's 40. Draw a line from that point to point D. So I'm calling this, I could call it DEF or DEF. It's totally up to me. So I'm going to call this D. I'm going to say this is F, and I'll put E at the top. So DE is 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters. Angle D is 40 degrees, 40 degrees. And now I have to find EF to 7 centimeters. I may have to make this line, yeah, I'm going to have to make this line a little bit longer. So again, I line it up, draw it like that. I'm going to extend it way out. Okay, so I am going to have a point somewhere along this line E where the distance E to F will be 7 centimeters. So I'm going to go to my ruler, or I can use, I guess, continue using my protractor, and I want to set my compass to 7 centimeters. So very carefully, I'm going to put the pin at 0 and open it until the middle of the pencil lead is at 7. To the best I can see, that is 7 centimeters. So now my compass is set to 7 centimeters. I place this in the middle of this dot, and I'm going to draw an arc which crosses this line from D right about there. I can go ahead and measure. It's a good idea to double check and see if I got that right. So I'm going to have from the middle there to there. Yeah, it looks about right. Okay. So this then will be point in my DEF triangle, E. And then I draw a line from E to F, and I'm going to double check and make sure that EF is 7 centimeters. I'll use it this way, the light works a little better. From the middle to there, and you can see that's right about right. Let me try it again. There to there, 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters. I do want to measure DE. I'm going to use it the other way because of the shadows. Middle of the dot to middle of the dot, and it looks like it is about 9.6 centimeters. So I'll call this 9.6 centimeters. Don't forget to measure all your angles. So here's angle F. I'm in the middle of this dot, and I see that it looks like here's 60 degrees. Oh, but I'm over 90 degrees. So this is going to be greater than 90 degrees. So actually I'm looking over on this side. So here's 120 degrees, but I'm actually closer to 90. So I'm going down from 120. So it looks like I'm 1 notch to the left of 120. So it's 119. 121 would be getting bigger, but I'm this way 1 degree, so I'm at 119. We're close to 119 degrees. And then I'm going to go ahead and measure this angle over here, and this angle will be smaller than 90, so I'm not looking at 160, but I'm looking over here at the 20, and I don't know if you can see, I'm a few marks past 20, so I am getting larger. So here's 21. It looks like 22. Now it does need to add up to 180, which it does not. So I am going to do the math and just make sure. 119 and 40 is 159, and there are 180 degrees in a triangle, minus 159. So that is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. So actually it's 21. It looked more like 22. I wonder which one I measured wrong. Maybe I did the 40 degree one wrong. That looks about right. That does look like 119. That's strange. That really does look like 22. Anyway, maybe it's a cheap protractor. Okay, so here we have constructed 2 triangles, one with 2 sides and an angle, and one with 2 angles and a side. Number 6 is draw and find the value of x. So here I have a picture which is not drawn to scale, and I must reconstruct this picture and measure to find the length of side x. So I'm going to start with the information that's given. I'm going to draw a 5 centimeter line. 5 centimeter line. It's about like that. Let's double check if that is that. There it is. 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters. And now I need to make a 70 degree angle. That says 70 degrees. So I'm going to put the protractor right on the middle of that dot. Make sure my line is straight. And I'm going to put a mark at 70, which will be 110 right there. I'm going to draw a line through those points. Call this 70 degrees. And then I have a 60-degree angle up here. So how am I going to draw that here? Well, I know this is 70 and this is 60, so I can find this angle right here. So 70 plus 60 is 130. So this angle here will be 50 degrees. 60 plus 70, 130 plus 50 is 180. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a 50-degree angle from this point right here. 50 degrees is right here. I draw a line through those points to that point. Yeah, so I can label this as 50 degrees, and this was given as 60 degrees. And I'm going to double check and make sure that I have 60 degrees right here. 60 degrees. Wow, it's a little bit off actually. That's close. I might call it 61. But that's going to be close enough for this exam. Then I am going to draw a 60-degree angle here and then measure out a 4-centimeter line. So 60 degrees again from here. I'm drawing this 60-degree angle right here. So I'm at the point, it looks straight right there. Draw a line from there to there. Double check. Yeah, 60 degrees. Okay, and then it tells me that side right here is 4 centimeters. So I am going to measure out 4 centimeters from that point to, I'm going to have to turn it around this way, 4 centimeters. Clean that up a little bit. 4, and it looks like it's right there. Double check the length on that. 0 to 4, yes, 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters. And now I can draw a line from this point to here. And this was what we were looking for, this X right here, so I can measure this side, and it looks like it is 5 centimeters exactly, 5 centimeters. Okay, that is number 6. Number 7, now we go into the pages on bearing, compass, directions. So it says, what is the bearing of A to B? So here we have N meaning north, and I have a point A to B, and I want to know the bearing or the compass direction from A to B. So remember that we start at 0 and it goes around the circle. This would be east at 90, south is 180, west is 270. And so I want to know what is this compass direction from A to B. So I'm going to use my protractor and measure this angle. I can do it like this. I'm going to turn my paper sideways, just it's a little bit easier to do. But I do notice that this line is really not long enough for me to make an accurate measurement, so I'm going to extend this line. And just go out that way. And putting it at point A and lining it up on the north, I see that I have a choice here of 110, 111, or looks like 6'9". So this angle is 69 degrees. Double check, 69 degrees. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, remember that we go around the compass. So here's a 0 degrees, and we would say bearing 000 or bearing 360. And then if I move 1 degree, that's going to be bearing 001, 002, 003, etc. 045 would be northeast. 090 would be east. So I'm somewhere in here. So my bearing is actually going to be 069. Bearing 069 degrees. Now I need to find the bearing from B to A. From B to A. And so this is what they call a reciprocal bearing, but you can kind of imagine, and I'm just going to kind of put in a fake north. I really should measure and make sure that that's right. Actually, it doesn't even look right. That's a little bit closer. But if I were to measure the angle from B to A, so I'm starting here, and I want to know the compass bearing this direction. Well, let's take a look at this again. This would be 0 from this point. This would be 90. This would be 180 from B. This would be 270, a westerly direction. And so I want to know this angle from here all the way around. So I don't want to measure that, but I can measure from north, from this angle, and I get, it's about 112, 113, something like that is what it looks like. But there's a trick when you're talking about reciprocal headings, or opposite bearings, I should say. If you look, if I start at 0 and I go north, and then I turn around and go south, well, my original bearing was 0, and then if I turn that around and move south, my bearing is 180. So I added 180 degrees. If I was going east, so if I was going this way, my bearing would be 090, heading east. If I turn around and go the other way, my bearing would be west, which is 270. And 90 plus this magical 180 is 270. So when you want to find reciprocal headings, you're just going to add 180, unless your original bearing is greater than 180. So if your original heading, say, was here, and we'll call this 225. If I was heading on a bearing of 225, which would be southwest, and then I were to turn around and go the opposite direction, well, 225 plus 180 is 405. That doesn't do me a lot of good, but 225 minus 180 is 45, and that is this heading northwest is 45 degrees. So you just have to remember that on reciprocal headings you're going to add 180 if your initial bearing was less than 180, or kind of on this side of the circle. If your original bearing was anywhere over here, you're going to subtract 180. So my original bearing from A to B was 069, so I am going to add 180 for the bearing from B to A. So that is 9. 6 plus 8 is 4. Carry the 1. 249. 249. And the final question, it says, a boat travels, zoom out a little bit, a boat travels 7 kilometers bearing 052, then turns for 5 kilometers bearing 146. What is the distance and bearing of the boat from start to finish? So I'm going to have to draw this scenario. So I'm going to start with a boat. That is my starting point. And I'm going to just label a north arrow to help me with these directions. So a boat travels 7 kilometers bearing 052. So I want to find 052. So I remind myself that east, or this way, is 90, so 052. 45 is right in the middle, so 052 is going to be somewhere right in here, So I'm going to measure an angle of 52 degrees, which is about here. And so I draw a line there. That's pretty off. Let me see how I did there. 0.52. That looks like 0.51. Even 0.50. Sorry about that. Let me try again. 0.52. 0.52. Right in the middle of the dot. And here's my 2. And I put the pencil in the middle of the dot, and right to that, right to that point. I'm going to move my point a little bit, I think. And so now I should have 52 degrees. Yeah, close enough. 51.8, something like that. So now I have my 0.52, and it says that the boat travels that way for 7 kilometers. So I'm going to say that 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer on this map. So I'm going to mark off 7 centimeters. So from there to there is 7 centimeters, or should be, yeah, that's 7 centimeters. So remember, this is my start. The boat started here and it sailed along this direction for 7 kilometers, bearing 072. The next sentence says, then turns for 5 kilometers, bearing 146. So now I have to find an angle 146. Where's my point? Right here, right here. So this would be roughly due south, 180, and I'm looking for a 146. So this would be 90. So I'm somewhere in this direction. So how do I draw a north line? So if this is, we said bearing 052, so this is 52 degrees, 52 degrees, and really what I want is I want a line that's parallel to my north line here. So if this is 52 degrees, this angle will also be 52 degrees to this north-south line. We talked about this last year. I think it's called alternate angles. Alternate angles. So this line and this line are parallel. So this angle and this angle will be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out 52 degrees on this line right here. Turn the paper, get my 0 point, and looks like that's about right. 52 degrees. Well, here's 50, and I'm going to go 2 degrees right there and draw a line from my point to here. And now I have my north-south line. So this would be north and this would be south. So this would be a bearing of 180, but I want to go bearing of 146. And you can do this a couple of different ways. Why don't we just measure 146 degree angle? My battery's about to go dead. So here we go. It's lined up, and I want to find 146. Well, here's 145. There's 146. So I'm going to draw a line from here through that point. And it says that it did this for 5 kilometers. So I'm going to measure out a distance of 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters. And so the final answer is they want the distance from start to finish. So this is my finish point. That distance is 8.4 centimeters. 8.4 centimeters. So that is going to be distance equals 8.4 kilometers. And then carefully I'm going to measure my angle here. It looks like it's 90 degrees, but it's not quite 90 degrees. It's just shy. So the bearing is 90 minus 2, 88 degrees. Or the bearing, I'm sorry, I should say 080 degrees. 080 degrees. Okay, I hope this helped, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will talk about the homework and take any questions then. Thank you very much.